Can you show us the dashboard and kind of show us kind of navigate through it?
This is a test account that I'm using, so it's not filled with a lot of listings, but it can give you a pretty good idea of how the Repricer looks and how it works. The first page you can see here is a dashboard. This dashboard can basically give you some information about how your products are faring, and how your pricing is doing. So for example, in here now everything is filled with zeros because this is a test account, but just to show how it will look, you will have a brief but comprehensive overview about how many of your products, for example, are below or above your min price. The competitors are above or below your min price. How many of your listings have competition? How many of them are right now in the buy box? Which one are selling the best, and so on. So this part is where you can have some kind of overview about how your business is faring. In here, we have a section called Manage Listing. In here is where you will see all of your listings, and you can manage them. You can decide which one to reprice and how to reprice them. One very important thing that I want to say is that in BQool, we only charge by the number of listings that you decide to reprice. So for example, in here, you can see there's this button. It means that the repricing is paused right now. It means that this listing won't count towards the limit of your subscription. So even if you have a very high number of listings, for example, but you only want to reprice part of it, you're only going to be subscribing to the plan that included that number of listings. This is a bit different than some other competitors that charge by the total number of your listing, or some of them they even charge by your revenue, for example. So in this case, you don't need to be charged for every listing that you have on your Amazon account. In here, you can see that you have some data by your listing, and you will see the status, you will see the fulfillment type, you can see how many other sellers are selling currently this product, and you can see your rank, you can put notes, and so on. In here, in Manage Listing, we also offer a very comprehensive list of filters. Of course, right now, since my test account I only have 2, cannot be used properly, but I can show you that you can filter with some default filters that we have, or you can combine different filters together to basically create your own filter. For example, you can filter your listing that are only, for example, FBA, only active, and you can then make some operation on only those filters. So basically, the filter option will help you to manage your listing and, for example, assign different rules to different listings. For example, one thing that it might happen is that no one is owning a buy box on some of your listings. So there's this filter called buy box owner. You can see that you can choose to only filter products that are where the buy box is currently owned by an FBA, or even when no one's owning the buy box. So using this filter, you can combine them together, and you can filter your listing. And for example, all the listings that have a suppressed buy box, you can decide to use a different rule that you.
Can I ask a question now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sure.
Is there a strategy within your repricer to find the buy box if no buy box is available? If there's no buy box in the listing, but there are sellers on the listing?
Yes, the product cannot switch automatically to a different rule to search for perfect buy box for you. But you can use this filter. For example, you can filter by using the filter we just saw for no buy box winner. You can quickly use a bulk action to switch all of them to a rule that is competing with the lowest price, let's say only lowest FBA price. And then the system will start using the new rule. It's going to use a different rule. And it's not going to check who's the buy box winner, but it's going to check who's the lowest FBA on the listing. And since you're putting your min-max prices, then it's going to exclude seller that if they are too low, lower than your min price, and it's going to reprice to other FBA sellers.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. In this page is also where you're going to set your min-max prices. So basically, if you want to set it on an individual listing level, what you can do is, for example, in here, we have right now a main price of $90. You can click on this. This is called Profit Calculator. And the Profit Calculator is a pretty good system that can help you calculate. So basically, as you can see here, the system is downloading from Amazon directly your fees, your Amazon fees. So Amazon referral fee, closing fee. If you have input a cost, either manually or through the Inventory Lab integration, or even with a download by uploading a spreadsheet, you can also have your product cost information information. And in this case, this listing will be an FBM listing, so there will be a shipping cost. Then basically what you can do is you can set your min price by saying that you want an estimated profit, for example, of $50, let's say. So you can put 15 here and calculate again. And the min price has changed to 85.87 automatically. And it will also tell you how much is your profit margin, how much is your ROI. If you want to base it on ROI, also you can do it. If you want a 300% ROI, for example, you can set it in there, and your min price will change automatically to 97.64. If you save, then that's your new min price. This can be done on the min price, on the max price, and even on your price, live price. If you want to update it manually, we don't suggest that because the Repricer works the best when it's actually setting your final price for you. But you can still do this manually if it's that's needed. When a listing has a min price, a max price, and a rule set, the repricing will turn automatically on enabled, and the listing will start repricing. When you're choosing the rule, you have to choose between some rules that you've created. We offer 4 default rules, but you can also create your own. I will go to this part soon. To finish here in manage listing, you also can check quickly if you are, for example, the lowest price right now on the listing, if you are matching the buy box price. And you can also check other metrics that are mostly about your ROI, and that is usually updated once a day after the repricing has started. The repricing rules are set and decided in a different page called Repricing Rules. In this page, you have the overview of your rules. As I mentioned before, we offer 4 default rules, and the 4 default rules are the first 4 you see in here, and they are divided into 2 main types. In BQool, we have 2 main strategies. One is to compete for the buy box, one is to compete against the lowest price. So in this case, the first 2 rules will be focused on the buy box. The other 2 will be focused on the lowest price. In both cases, you can also choose to have a rule that is focused on maximizing your profit and want to stay competitive. Basically, the stay competitive one will always be a bit more aggressive, and the maximized profit would be less aggressive and trying to focus on not losing your profit. What we suggest, and what I think is one of the biggest strengths of our product, is to customize your own rule. So of course the default rule is there. So especially at the beginning, if someone doesn't want to get overwhelmed by information about settings, you can still use the default rule as they are. But you can also decide to copy them and then edit the copied rule. So basically you're creating your own rule. Let's go into it. If you click in it, or if you decide to copy and edit, you go to the page where you can set your rule and all of your settings. I'm going to show you first this part called repricing settings. This is where you decide your main repricing settings, your repricing strategy. And for example, in here, you can see this is the main decision, the one about competing with the lowest price or the buy box price. Let's say that we want to compete with the buy box price, because I would say that is the main behavior usually, especially for FBA sellers. After you have decided this, you can decide which competitor to compete with and which one to exclude. So for example, if you don't want to compete with FBM seller, you can just untick it. Non-feature FBA and FBM, usually they are not able to win the buy box no matter what. So sometimes I believe it's better to also exclude them as well. The setting called buy box winner found between min and max is where the main behavior will be decided. For example, right now it is set to the buy box winner is above min price. Basically, when the buy box is actually on reach, you're going to be buy box price minus 1 penny. What if you want to match? Then you can just change this to a 0. The system will match the buy box price. So every time the current buy box winner is within your min and max price, the system is going to match their price. This setting here is for when the buy box winner is actually at your min price. In this case, I would say you're going to use your min price. So the system is always working in this way. When a seller is changing their price, for example, from $10 to $9.99, and they're winning the buy box, our system is going to put your price to $9.99 as well. The moment we receive the notification that the price change will happen, and someone's going to $9.98, then you're going to go to $9.98 as well, and so on. So this is happening within your min and max price. Other settings are for other scenarios. For example, if we go down a little bit more, is what if the price goes below your min price? Then what is the repricer going to do? In this case, for example, when buy box winner found below your min price, then you can decide to just not reprice, or you can decide to go to your min price, or you can even decide a fixed price. The same thing is if the buy box winner is currently above your max price. So as you can see in here, setting the correct min price and max price is very, very important because they will be the numbers that are going to be used by the repricer to know when to stop and to know what to do when the price is going below the min or above the max. Other scenarios that can be considered and are considered by our settings are, for example, when no one else is selling and you're the only one on the listing, then you can tell the system to automatically go to your max price, for example. Or you can even say your max price, but maybe minus, I don't know, 10%. You can change it like that. For example, if you don't want to risk to go too high and maybe have Amazon delist and strand your item, then you can, for example, set it in this way. In other cases is, yes, like we said before, we do have a setting for no buy box winner found. So when the buy box is suppressed and you're still competing with the buy box winner, of course, there is no one we can specifically target because in this rule, you are competing with the buy box. But still, you can decide to have one behavior, one repricing behavior. You can decide to go to your min price or max price, change something to your price. So for example, if no one is winning the buy box and you're like, well, I want to lower my price a bit to try to win that buy box, you can decide to have your current price minus, let's say, 10%. So the system is going to change your price, just reducing it by 10%. In that case, if this new price is going to win you the buy box, then the system can go back to the main repricing strategies and let's say we unblocked it. If it doesn't, then the system is going to keep like this. And you can do what we said before. You can use the filter and change the repricing rule to something focused on the lowest price instead of the buy box. I'm going to go up a bit more because there's another important part is the buy box settings.